A little Torah. So think of what the world felt like when you started your studies at JTS. In the time that you have been here, the world has been so changed, punctuated by COVID and bookended by war. This Shabbat, Parshat Emor calls us to mark sacred time. Chapter 23 lays out the sacred calendar, beginning with Shabbat and cycling through each festival. As rabbis, as cantors, our tremendous privilege is being invited into the lives of the people we serve, helping them find meaning in our rituals and infusing their lives with Kedusha. We try to help elevate the holiness in these ancient days through music and ritual and Torah, engaging all of our senses, all of our spirits, so that these days actually feel sacred, not rote. And finding holiness in the holiday cycle year after year is not always so easy, especially when we are grieving and when the world is in turmoil. Midrash Sifra and Emor teaches that the calendar was adjusted so that all of the children of Israel, whether in the Holy Land or in the distant diaspora, can access this essential Kedusha. Our daunting task as spiritual leaders is infusing these sacred times with holiness so that all of the children of Israel, those who are near and at home in our tradition, and those who are distant and alienated from it, find deep meaning, even when we ourselves may feel depleted and distressed. In Midrash Tanhuma, a story is told of an idolater who questions whether all of these festivals are really worthwhile. He asks Rabbi Akiva, Lama atem osim mo'adot? Why do you observe these festivals? Doesn't it say in Isaiah, Chodshechem u'mo'adechem san'a nafshi? Your new moons and fixed seasons fill me with loathing. They have become a burden to me. I cannot endure them. But Rabbi Akiva explains that these are so-called false holidays that Isaiah is decrying. Your holidays are sacred times that have been drained of their innate Kedusha. What we call true festivals, God's festivals, touch us deeply and contribute to real inner and societal transformation. True Chagim make manifest the spirit of Isaiah's subsequent powerful message, Limdu hetev darshu mishpat, ashrei chamutz, shiftu yatom rivu almana. Learn to do good. Devote yourselves to justice. Aid the wronged. Uphold the rights of the orphan. Defend the cause of the widow. In Emor, we read for the first time the command to count each day after bringing the first sheaf of the Omer until we reach 7 weeks. The early days of Omer are associated with vulnerability, brokenness, fear, and grief. Today is 23 days of the Omer and 223 days of hostages being held by Hamas in Gaza and 223 days of the unimaginable suffering of this war. In these terrible days, we recall another story about Rabbi Akiva, this one involving the plague which decimated his students from Yevamot. They said that Rabbi Akiva had 12,000 pairs of students, and they all died in one period of time because they did not treat each other with respect. Mipnei shelo nahagu kavod ze lazeh. And the world was desolate of Torah. Ha'olam shamem. Until Rabbi Akiva came to other rabbis and taught his Torah to them. And these are the very ones who upheld the study of Torah at that time. And although Rabbi Akiva's earlier students did not survive, his later disciples were able to transmit the Torah to future generations. The key to the flourishing of Rabbi Akiva's later disciples, in contrast to the earlier ones, was their capacity for treating others with kavod, seeing and lifting up the divine presence in each other. We learn from Akiva that by applying ourselves to the practice of the sacred calendar, the Chagim, the Omer, we can ascend in Kedusha, but only to the extent we learn to promote mishpat, justice, and by loving each person, witnessing and lifting up their innate, infinite, sacred worth. The Omer recognizes the vulnerability in this part of the agricultural cycle. We have prepared soil and planted seeds, but our harvest ultimately depends not only on our efforts, but on the sun and the rain. In vulnerable times like these, we are especially aware of our dependence on God, a sacred presence within us and beyond us. I wish you could begin your work as rabbis and cantors in an easier world. But you are equal to the task before you. You have affirmed again and again your commitment to serving the Jewish people throughout these tumultuous years. You have watched and learned from your mentors as they have navigated and led others through these most challenging times. I pray that you will tend to your own learning and treat one another with kavod, with respect, and uphold the study of Torah and transmit that Torah. And now it's time. The Jewish people need you. May you be like the later disciples of Rabbi Akiva, committed to ongoing learning, listening and communicating across difference with respect. May you lead with curiosity and humility, and may you ultimately reap and taste the sweetness of the fruits of the harvest. May you be cantors and rabbis who teach us all to infuse the everyday, the profane, with Kedusha, pursuing mishpat, justice, and treating one another and all beings with kavod, honoring the divine image in each face you meet. May you learn and teach how to laugh and cry with the same eyes, how to hold compassion for Israelis and Palestinians, how to hold Ahavat Israel and pursue justice. Rav Nachman of Bratslav reminded us, Lo lehityaesh, asur lehityaesh, we must not despair. We must not despair. And so we must do the work. May the one who makes peace in the heavens help us to be God's partners in making peace here for all of us, for all of Israel, and for all of the nations of the world.